Welcome back, everyone, to Yamhill County Truth Seeker Conversations in the Spirit of Truth. I've invited all of those people who are running this year for McMinnville School Board to join me and discuss the same set of 4 questions to keep it fair and equal. With me now is candidate for position 7 at large, Shellie Reyes. Shellie, thank you for joining me.
Oh, thank you for having me.
My pleasure. I'm going to jump right out and ask the first question. What inspired you to run for McMinnville School Board? And you can bring in your background if you want, if that has anything to do with it or not.
Yeah. I think the number one thing that inspired me to run for school board is my passion for mental health in the schools. And I have 4 kids of my own in the schools. And I really want to be able to give back in kind of a larger aspect, right? Because I can teach my kids all the mental health tools that I can. I work at Head Start as the mental health specialist, and I go all over the county helping our preschool population and their parents and our teachers here mental health tools that they can use, practical things that they can do in the moment or things they can do just on their own to be able to regulate themselves. So I really wanted to have kind of a broader scope, I guess, if that makes sense, to be able to reach more people. And I thought this would be a good way to do that.
Well, we probably all need some help with mental health. Just a little side note of my
Yeah, absolutely. Therapists need therapists. So
second question, active Oregon Senate Bill 409, if passed, I think it's sponsored by Senator Kim Thatcher, would require the school board to post course information on the district's website, preferably per building, rather than some huge conglomeration in one spot. And it would place some accountability. And the thought was that it would be less potentially likely, I'm not sure if it would work or not, but that teachers wouldn't go outside of their planned materials and insert their own personal or political agenda. What are your thoughts on a bill like that?
Well, from what I read of Bill 409 is the only thing it's requiring is that the school district post the Oregon Department of Education website, right? So that you can go onto the Oregon Department of Education and read what curriculum is for the state and what the standards are. I did some digging into our own district, and we have all of our curriculum posted already, which is amazing. And I know that I can go to any of my kids' teachers and ask them what's going on and could you tell me more about this curriculum? Usually they get ahead of it though. They are usually sending home things. Hey, this is what we're about to get into. If you want to pull your kid out or if you want to talk more about this, then that's an option. They also have sent, our teachers are amazing because they send things. Hey, we had this kind of big discussion in class today and we wanted parents to know about it. So that if you have any questions or concerns, you can talk to me about what the conversation looked like. So there's a lot of transparency in our district already that I have really appreciated. And I think that there's school districts doing that are putting all their stuff out there already. So I don't know how well a mandate or like a rule would work because, you know, there's rules about lots of things that continue to happen, right? So rules don't necessarily guide people in the best way, but I think that in our school district, that what I have witnessed has been really great transparency and really great conversations.
Good to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I hadn't heard that from anybody else. So you have some deeper insight. Some people have said that school choice, where the money that's attached to each child from the state, and I guess maybe federal might be mixed in there, I'm not sure, but the money would follow the child, and that might go to homeschool, might go to private school, might go to another school in town. Maybe in bigger cities, it would be more impactful than McMinnville, where there aren't a whole lot of choices and everything's kind of the same. But do you agree or disagree that that would improve education in general?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I did a lot of research around this one because I haven't known a lot about school choice or what that entails, or if there's even research. But turns out there's research, which is fantastic. And so there are currently 14 states that actually have just open free choice. Anybody can go to any school they want. They just have to register for whatever school they want. There are 17 additional states, which is us included, that have the ability to transfer if you request. So I know that that's possible in ours. I know that people, especially with our strange memorial split that goes to Dunaway or to Patton, right? Some parents want to stick their kids with their friend groups, and so they'll choose to transfer. And I know that happens in our district. So that being said, that's already kind of an option in our school district and in our state. But there is research that shows that school choice actually improves a lot of things that I had no idea that it did. So it can improve math and literacy scores. It increases the likelihood of graduation. It reduces criminal activity, which is just mind-blowing to me. Increases civic engagement. Like it shows kids tend to be more engaged in what's going on around them. It increases the tolerance of others and improves racial integration, which are all things like I wouldn't even think about. And I've heard there's lots of concern, like the schools that people are leaving or whatever will like just go downhill, right? Because people will be choosing the better schools, which has been proven wrong. That is the kind of pressures, the competitive pressures, if you will, kind of it improves test scores at the traditional public schools as well. Wow. So it sounds to me from the research I've done, there's a lot of good things. The other thing about the funding is that the local funds that are the ones that come from us, right? Our county funds or whatever, they actually don't get touched. They stay in the school that the child would be going to based on where they live. The only funds that would be moving would be federal funds. So it's quite interesting when you kind of dig into like what's going on and what it actually the impacts would be, because when you hear like money's moving, then people kind of panic and get stressed out about like what's going to happen. Is the school my kid's going to just going to turn into a poorhouse because these kids are moving? But it's the same. The research shows that it's the same fluctuation as if a kid moved out of state, right? Or if a kid came in from out of state or whatnot. Like that same kind of fluctuation is going to be the same with the funding. So it's not that big of a difference in those kind of aspects. So yeah,
that's fascinating. You just educated me. I did a little bit of digging, but not as much as you. So
well, I was like, I don't know about school choice, so I'd like to know before I can speak about it.
If I was your opponent, now hearing how much you dig into things to be knowledgeable, I would be very afraid right now. And I'm trying to be equal, but
absolutely.
Your opponent, I think Ms. Towery, she didn't reply to any of my attempts to reach out. So
yeah, well, I hope everybody does research, right? That I don't know. I would rather speak from a stance of solid facts than what just my emotions or feelings are. So
exactly, or opinion.
I don't know what yeah.
Last question, and this is kind of broad because I know things can be different in one building or another, elementary, middle, high. But if you could pick one or two topics that are kind of important for you, and maybe you've already alluded to it, but maybe you want to go into a little more detail, that you think would be top as you go in to, should you win the election and be a board member, that rises to the top for you as an issue or something that needs to be addressed. more so than perhaps it already is.
Mm-hmm.
What would that be?
Yeah. So I'm a therapist, right? So I am going to be biased towards mental health because I'm very passionate about kids feeling like they belong and they are at home wherever they are. So I know there are programs in our district. I know we partner with places like Lutheran Community Services, and we partner with Yamhill County Family and Youth, because I used to do that. I was a Yamhill County Family and Youth school-based therapist and was in the school doing therapy, which was great for access because some kids can't get to a therapy office. So it's way easier to just walk down the hall and do a therapy session. I know that the school district is doing really great things and knows that mental health is like important, right? There is still a problem with access because there are not enough therapists who do the work. There are if you go to Yamhill County Family and Youth, right, the wait is pretty substantial to get into places. And if you're a Spanish speaker, that's I can't even tell you, I don't know the statistics on this one. I did not do that statistical research, but I know when I was working at Family and Youth, there were 2 therapists who spoke Spanish. And so if you were a Spanish speaking student or family, then you had to wait significant amounts of time to be able to get in, to see a therapist. And so that's kind of county issues. Sorry, I'm coming back to the schools.
Sure.
You're figuring out how we can incorporate just resilience in the schools, because resilience, teaching kids how to bounce back from hard things, increases their mental health and increases their grit, right? So they can get through things. So if we could teach teachers and staff how to increase resilience in our students, then they would be doing better, right, in classes and in schools. If we can teach them how to manage their emotions and themselves to be able to sit in a class and learn the history and learn the math and learn, right, all the things that we're learning in school, they'd be actually able to retain it rather than just thinking about all the things that are going on at home or all the things that, like where they're going to get a meal, some of them, right? Or where they're going to sleep at night, because we've got a lot of homeless students in our district. So yeah, increasing mental health, and I don't have all the solutions, right? But I'm hoping we as a community could come together and stand with our kids and really help them in that way. So that would be my priority. Yeah.
Thank you for joining me, and thank you so much for caring about children's futures and already what you've been doing for your career, but all the more so stepping out and venturing into the elected world.
Yeah. Thank you so much for hosting and asking some really good questions that made me dig. It was fantastic.
Take care.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of these United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And to my country I make my pledge to always love, protect, and defend her. And we the people across this land, one